Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. Week 3 of college football was not nearly as exciting as Week 2. Only 3 top 25 teams went down, and 2 of those came in top 25 matchups. But this was still a very fun week, and it was still a week where we learned a lot. So today, guys, we are here to take a look at how we did on our predictions in Week 3, take a little look ahead to Week 4, but of course, break down some of the biggest moments from this last weekend of college football. So once again, guys, thank you so much for being here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos. Guys, help us grow our Gridiron Nation. Help us grow the GE Nation and become a part of the team yourself. You can do that by sharing the videos. You can do that by checking out everything down in the description below, including those expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Guys, our predictions, we're killing it this year. Take a look here. Week 3, 43-6 on the money line. 43-6, that's 88%, 87.8%. Unreal. Overall this year, 143-26, so hitting about 85% of our bets on the money line against the spread. 6-4 in Week 3. Overall, 21-12, hitting over 63% of our bets through 3 weeks of the college football season. Really through 4 if you count Week 0. So 63.6% on the year. Great against the spread. Great on the money line. You can win too if you go sign up for our expert picks over on our website, thegridironexpert.com. Link for that down in the description below. Become a part of the team. Start winning today with some of the best picks in the country for one of the lowest prices in the country. Go check it out, guys. Another phenomenal week from us here at the Gridiron Expert. We can guarantee it will remain that way throughout the entire course of the season. So that was a little recap of our predictions, right? We like to bring out the whiteboard, like to show off some of the numbers. We're going to do that every single week as well. But right now, let's dive into the action, right? That's what we're kind of taking a look at from Week 3. And again, not too many huge moments. Only had a handful of ranked versus ranked matchups, only 2. But still where we learned a lot and saw a couple scares. I want to start right now in Lincoln, where number 6, Oklahoma, destroyed Nebraska 49-14. We talked about how there were a lot of storylines in this game. Sure, old Big 12 rivalry, but the 2 biggest ones were it's Oklahoma's first true test under Brent Venables and obviously Nebraska's first game without Scott Frost. And it looked promising, right? We said Nebraska might come out fired up. You know, no more Scott Frost. That's okay. Still got a top 10 team coming to our house. We're going to prove that we can win without Scott Frost. Couldn't win with him. We're going to prove we can definitely win without him. Nebraska, it looked promising. They scored on their first drive right out the gate, forced a 3-and-out, forced a punt, scored 7-0 Nebraska. Crowd goes wild. Then the defense allowed 49 straight points. 7-0 Nebraska turned into 49-7 Oklahoma. The Sooners outgained the Cornhuskers 580 yards to 327, including 312 rushing yards. The Cornhuskers, guys, are just abysmal. Just when you thought things couldn't get worse for them, they continue to do it. Last year was bad enough. This year it was even worse. And I think maybe people thought that was possible. So Oklahoma really showing they are capable of winning a road game under Brent Venables, winning a big game under Brent Venables. They got a big test coming up this next week against Kansas State to kick off Big 12 conference play. How about Oregon? Number 25 Oregon proving they're legit and that you shouldn't have forgotten about them with their 41-20 win over number 12 BYU. Guys, the Ducks were beating the Cougars 38-7 entering the fourth quarter. So BYU, fresh off a top 10 victory over Baylor, goes to Eugene. People are hyping them up, thinking they can win this game. People are maybe talking playoff for the Cougars because they still had games against Oregon and Notre Dame and Arkansas and guys like that. You beat Oregon, watch out. Cougars crashed the playoff party, and they laid an egg. They got destroyed. Oregon, guys, the offense was so balanced. 227 passing yards, 212 rushing yards. The Cougars did not have an answer for the Ducks defensively. Bo Nix didn't know which one was going to show up. He showed up in a big way. The good Bo Nix under Kenny Dillingham. 5 total touchdowns for the Auburn transfer, 0 interceptions. The Ducks defense held BYU to 61 rushing yards. So again, the Ducks, who were kind of left for dead after their blowout loss to Georgia, are now back as a top legit 15 team. You can start talking about them again. One loss does not define Dan Lanning's squad. They get a win over the 12th ranked team in the country and show, hey, you know, no one was going to do well against Georgia, right? Cut us a little slack. We're still a top 15, and we deserve to be talked about. So huge win for Oregon. Beautiful football game across the board for the Ducks. offensively, defensively. BYU not overrated. BYU still a very solid team, but maybe not as good as we thought they were following their win over Baylor. How about Penn State, another team that's rising up the rankings after a very strong start, destroying Auburn 41-12. This is bad for Brian Harsin, guys. He was kind of on the hot seat already coming into the season. Losing to Penn State is one thing. Losing to them by 29 at home, well, that's another. Penn State, guys, had 245 rushing yards on the day. That Nittany Lions defense forced 4 turnovers for their second largest victory over an SEC team. The defense, on top of the turnovers, held Tank Bigsby to 39 rushing yards on the day. Auburn's offense continues to struggle mightily. Still have major questions at quarterback. Still was not able to exploit a very strong Penn State defense. This is an Auburn team that barely survived San Jose State in week 2. Gets thrashed at home against the Nittany Lions, allowing Sean Clifford to throw for 178 yards, but really it was Nick Singleton and Katron Allen that kind of stole the show for Penn State. So Nittany Lions soaring up the rankings just like they did at the beginning of last year. Auburn going in the exact opposite direction, and Brian Harsin could soon be out on the Plains. 2 little quick hitters here. Major shout out to App State. What a thrilling finish. College game day comes to Boone. People are pumped. Almost blew it. Almost lost with College game day there. We're trailing Troy. And then Chase Bryce hit Christian Horn on a 53-yard Hail Mary as time expired. The old tip drill. Ball gets tipped around. Troy batted it down right into the hands of Christian Horn. Ran around the end. Scored the game-winning touchdown. Beat Troy 32-28. App State now 2-1 with 3 insane games to start the year. That thrilling win over North Carolina, thrilling loss against North Carolina, win over Texas A&M, and now the thrilling win against Troy. And then major shout out to Kansas. Kansas taking down Houston 48-30. Wasn't even close on the road. The Jayhawks now 3-0 for the first time since 2009, putting up over 430 yards of offense, including 280 rushing yards, guys. The Jayhawks might be legit this year. Watch out for Lance Leipold in Kansas. Can they get to a bowl game? Find out in a couple days right here on the Gridiron Expert. But Kansas looking really, really good. What a major turnaround for this Jayhawks program. All right, back in the top 10. How about Arkansas barely surviving Missouri State? I mean, what a scare for the Razorbacks, guys. I mean, this was not supposed to be a game we were going to be talking about here, but here we are. The Razorbacks trailed 17-0 against the Bears. Why was this a big game? Well, the major storyline was, of course, Bobby Petrino is the Missouri State head coach. He is the former Arkansas coach, coached the Razorbacks from 2008 through 2011, had the Razorbacks as high as number 3 in the country at one point. And his Bears team came ready to play. They were fired up for Bobby Petrino. They were fired up for their coach. And they clearly wanted it more than Arkansas to start the game. But the Razorbacks, they battled adversity. They overcame adversity, lit it up in the fourth quarter, scoring 3 touchdowns in the final 12 minutes to pull away, winning 38-27. It all started with the 73-yard shuffle pass to Rocket Sanders. That really got it going. And then, of course, the 82-yard punt return was what gave the Razorbacks the lead, and then the dagger with 1:39 left was what put the Razorbacks up 11. But guys, very scary outing. The 11-point victory makes it look better than it really was. But the Hogs putting up over 600 yards of offense against the Bears. Offensively looking solid. Major test coming up, though, for the top 10 team in the country, facing against A&M on Saturday, and then a potential top 10 showdown in Fayetteville on October 1st against Alabama. Watch out for that. Arkansas survives. Don't worry. I think they're going to be bounced back. They're going to be just fine. Last 2 games. How about Washington? The Huskies taking down number 11, Michigan State, 39-28. Look, don't want to brag here, but one of our big wins up here was Washington. We predicted the Huskies to upset the Spartans, beat them by 11. That game, not nearly close as it was either. You know, you look at this game. Washington held a 22-0 second quarter lead. The Huskies' offense that was atrocious last year, 503 yards of offense, including 397 through the air. Michael Penix, the Indiana transfer quarterback, having 4 touchdowns on the day, and this Washington defense holding Michigan State's rushing offense to just 42 yards. This Huskies team, guys, was not a team that we really expect to be talking about this early on in the year. Not really a team we thought could be a Pac-12 title contender in year 1 under Kalen DeBoer, yet here we are. The Pac-12 might be more competitive than we thought. Playoff hope still slim, but USC's in the mix, Oregon back in the mix, Utah, of course, up there in the mix. Now add in Washington, and maybe a couple of outliers that could make some noise, like Washington State and Oregon State. Watch out for the Pac-12. Washington now joining the top 25, now joining the Pac-12 conversation with a dominant win over a top 12 team. And then finally, guys, the last game to talk about here, College Station. Number 24, Texas A&M takes down number 13, Miami, 17-9. Max Johnson got the start at quarterback for Jimbo Fisher and the Aggies. Max Johnson, transferring in from LSU, replaced Haynes King, went just 10 for 20. Completed just 50% of his passes for 140 yards and a touchdown. The offense still struggled a lot for Texas A&M. They were outgained 392 to 264. So outgained by over 100 yards against Miami. But the defense and Miami mistakes were the key for Texas A&M. You know, the Hurricanes had that muff punt that resulted in a touchdown for Texas A&M. The Hurricanes missed 2 field goals, one from the Texas A&M 18, the other from the 31. They lost 17-9. Keep that in mind. Miami had a chance to bounce on a Texas A&M muff punt late in the fourth quarter, couldn't get on it, had a chance on one last drive, failed again. So the Texas A&M defense, when they needed to, stepped up big. They were kind of like a bend and don't break defense on Saturday night. Still don't think the Aggies are that great though. And, they didn't rise that much high up in the polls either. I mean, Miami still torched them for 175 rushing yards, still significantly outgained them. Miami made a lot of crucial mistakes that cost them this game, but you do need to give credit to A&M for bouncing back from that crushing loss to Appalachian State. Give credit to that A&M team for bending but not breaking defensively. And obviously, I think the move to Max Johnson, while he didn't light up the stats, while he didn't light it up offensively, was the right move for Jimbo Fisher and the Aggies. The question is, can it translate to a much bigger victory on Saturday against Arkansas? That will be the true test. So guys, there you have it, your quick Week 3 college football recap. We apologize for being a little late, out of town this weekend. Wanted to jump on it early this morning to give you this, so now we can shift our entire attention to Week 4, one that's going to be huge. Conference play starting for a lot of conferences across the board, guys. Big marquee matchups left and right. I think we have 3 ranked versus ranked matchups. We've got a lot to talk about, and the content starts later today with our own Gridiron Expert Top 25 and then prediction videos for the rest of the week. So make sure to check those out. Make sure to go sign up for those expert picks, guys. Again, these numbers, they don't lie. Some of the best in the entire country. We beat out over 80% of the national analysts each of the last 4 years. If you want to win and win big, the expert picks are for you. So make sure to go check that out down in the description below. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert. Please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share the videos to become a part of and help grow the GE Nation. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.